Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bonds Payable Part 7. We're going to go ahead and determine bond proceeds when the stated rate of interest is less than the market rate of interest and interest is being paid annually. So as you saw from one of my other videos, right, if we go back over here really quickly and we have a discount, meaning that my stated rate is less than the market rate. What does this mean? I'm not going to get the full amount of cash because my bond is going to have to be discounted so that the investors earn the market rate of interest. So if I have a bond that is being issued at a discount, this is always going to be the journal entry that I'm going to be using, especially for this more of a simple answer. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I see that the stated rate of interest is 7 and the market rate of interest is 8. So this bond is going to be issued at a discount. So right over here, what am I going to go ahead and do? I'm going to go ahead and write out the journal entry. So on a 1/1/28, I'm going to be debiting cash. I'm going to be debiting discount on bonds payable, and I'm going to be crediting bonds payable. Whenever I credit bonds payable, if it's a discount or a premium, I'm always going to record it at the face value. So right over here, this is going to be at 18 million. So this is going to be to record issuance of a bond. Okay, or record bond issuance. So now what I need to do is to figure out what are the cash payments that this bond is going to make. Well, the first thing is the principal amount or the face value of the bond payable. It's going to pay 18 million. Now, in terms of looking at a present value factor, this is going to be present value of $1. And how many times am I paying interest? Well, this bond has an 8-year term. So it's going to be, and it's also being paid annually, right? Very, very important, right? So even though it's not saying this here, this is going to be annual. Just give me a second. There we go. Now it's fixed. Okay, so this is going to be present value of $1. 8 periods because it's paying interest once per year at 8%, and 8% is the market rate. Remember, when we go to the present value tables, it's always going to be using the market rate of interest. Now, how much interest am I going to be paying out? I'm going to take, for basically to determine interest paid, I'm going to take my principal amount of $18 million. My interest rate, the stated interest rate, is going to be right over here. It is 7%, right? Very different than the market rate. So over here, so to figure out the amount of cash paid for interest, I always use the stated rate. So the total annual interest is going to be 18 million times 7%, or 1,260,000. Now for this one, because the interest payment is going to be made every year for the next 8 years, I'm going to go to the present value of an ordinary annuity of $1. And this is going to be 8 periods at 8%, which is the market rate of interest. So now I'm ready to go to the tables. All right. So right over here for my first interest table, we've got over here, we've got the present value of $1. 8 periods at 8% is 0.54027. Okay, and then my second one here, present value of an ordinary annuity of $1. Right over here, I've got 8 periods at 8%, or 5.74664. Okay, so my total present value of the interest payments is going to be the 1,260,000 times 5.74664, or 7,240,766. Over here, the present value of the principal payments. This is going to be 18 million times 0.54027. When I add up these numbers, the number that I'm going to get is going to be 16,965,626. Now, when we look at this, this is the cash that I'm receiving, right? So, and most importantly, is this number greater or less than the 18 million? Well, it's less, and we knew it was going to be less because the bond is going to sell for less than face value, because the stated interest rate is below the market rate. So over here, the difference is going to be my discount on bonds payable. So right over here, this is going to be $1,034,374. So that's how we go through and record this when we have an interest, when we have the market rate is greater than the stated rate, it's going to sell for a discount. So in any event, I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Please leave any kind of questions you might have below, and appreciate you liking and subscribing to the video series. Have a great day.